Audio Audio Journal 1. Uh this is completely out of order. I just recorded number 3, now I'm recording number 1. Uh so Audio Journal number 1 is about my backstory. Everything. In the last one I made like another version of this, but if I'm being honest, I just restarted it because I just thought my voice is cringy. I just thought it sounded cringy. And also, it was like 3 a.m. and I was like slurring my words and stuff. Ugh, I'm about to try. So, I'm gonna start. In the past, I went through all my memories. I'm not sure I'm gonna do all that. That's a lot. So all my memories is crazy. So my first memory is my mom says I was 14 months old when this happened, which means that my first memory was when I was a little over a year old, a year and 2 months actually. So this must have been in April. No, February, March, April. Yeah, it must have been in April, I guess. That was in fact my ankle. I'm a crunchy person. Anyway, so my first memory, I was 14 months old, and I was in a daycare. And I forgot what I was doing. I was like playing like a piano, or I was like doing some. And out of nowhere, for no reason, this girl picks up this little piano. I think I remember it being like a little red keyboard. She picks up this keyboard, and she just bashes me in the back of the head with this keyboard. And I turn around and like look at her, and I just start like screaming at her. And I pick up the keyboard. I just start fucking chasing her. And she runs over to this fat Jabba the Hutt looking lady. And yeah, I'm still salty about this. She runs over to this like fat Jabba the Hutt looking lady, and this that was the person that ran the daycare, and she put her on her lap, and the person that run and I was screaming at her. I'm like, she just hit me in the back of the head, or why aren't you punishing her? Because I was like angry that she just like holding on to her, like protecting her. Actually, in fact, I remember saying when I was younger, why are you protecting her? Punish her. And I was getting super pissed that she wasn't doing anything about that. I'm like, I get fucking put in timeout for random shit that I do. She just hit me in the back of the head with a keyboard, and you're putting her putting her on your lap and treating her like a pet. That's crazy. So then I remember I whipped this that keyboard that she hit me with, and I remember like it went hard. Like, I mean, she didn't react to it, probably because she's 300 fucking pounds, but it like bounced off the floor and like hit her in the leg and just made like a big old, like, made a slap. And that was my first memory. So my first memory was getting brutalized, and then authority being treated unfairly by authority figures, which you're gonna see is a pervasive theme in my life. And then the next thing that I'll bring up is, I remember driving by, being in the car driving by a preschool, and I asked my mom if I could go to preschool, or I did something like that. This was when I was 5, and 4. She says, yeah, I guess I was 4 in preschool from what she says. So this was when I was 4. And then we went to the local one, which was just down the street, and they said that they were full. I forgot exactly what they were saying, but I remember I was like playing with like some bananas or something like that, some like toy bananas, tiny ones, and they were saying something, and or they asked me a question. I just look over and I'm like, "But mom, I have no friends." And I said like all sad, like I was like about to cry. And they both started laughing, because to them it was so like cute and like depressing at the same time. It was just funny that some like little 4-year-olds like, "But mom, I have no friends." They were laughing at my pain. No. Eventually I did get signed up for a preschool, and then I went to that preschool. And then at that preschool, I realized that I fucking hated it, and it was horrible. A lot of learning. I had separation issues because I'd like never really been away from my mom before. So just being away from my mom for 3 hours, like it took like at least like I think it took like 6 months or something like that to get used to being dropped off. And yeah, and I remember I made some friends. Oh no, not some friends. I made one friend in kindergarten, and I remember everyone else would be like treat me unfairly. Like for example, there was a one occasion where I wanted to use the water table or whatever it was, and there for certain things there were like terms or whatever. It's like you get like 5 minutes at each station, and when it was like their when it was when their time was up, they wouldn't like leave when I would like keep trying to get in. They would like fucking they would push me out the way and stuff, and I had to keep going and telling people, and sometimes they just wouldn't the teachers wouldn't listen to me. Sometimes they would, and they would tell them to fuck off. And yeah, I remember like the first one of the first times I like went and like was able to actually use the water table, because my mom had to talk to one of the teachers there, and then the teacher actually did her job when I asked her to. And I remember I like went there and started playing with the water table. I remember I was just like sad. I was like, damn, like I had to go tell these people, and then like now there's like no one here at the water table anymore. Yeah. Oh, and all these people are like being mean to me, like pushing me out their way, like with their like hip bumping me and shit out the way. Um, to get me to. Yeah. I remember I was just like sad, and I was like, honestly, this isn't even as fun as it looked, and I just got sad and walked away. And then, um, yeah, I remember I made a friend named Miguel. I would play tag with some of the other kids. Point finger. We'd play like Cowboys and Indians or whatever. This is like a little Asian kid wanted to play that, and we would like use like finger. We like use like our finger. Make finger guns or whatever. I remember the teachers even then like were preschoolers, and they were having an issue with us doing that, which is crazy. I also had my first crush in preschool. Her name was Michaela. I don't remember too well how she looked. My mom said that she could understand why. She thought that there was a lot of boys there that had a crush on this one girl. I remember her being white with hair similar to mine, like wavy and brown with highlights, and I think blue eyes, maybe blue or green eyes. I don't really remember. Maybe not. I don't remember too well what she looked like. And then skip forward to kindergarten. In kindergarten, I had my first girlfriend. The way that happened is, I think it was the first day of kindergarten, and I pulled up, and we were getting signed in and stuff, and this one girl just looked at me, like gasped, and ran over and just hugged me. And another thing that to keep in mind is, my entire life, all the way up until I was probably like 13 or 14. Yeah, probably all the way until I was 14. I was like the 97th percentile for height. So, like, when she ran up and hugged me, and I remember I just like hugged her back. I don't know, the reason why I'm bringing that up is because like it's not like a normal like it was like a more like growing up version of a hug that I would like remember, because like how like when you hug a girl, her head is like under yours, and you hug her in like a different kind of way than you would hug like another guy back. I hugged her kind of like that because I was that much taller than her. I was like as I recall, I think like I was like I was like at least half a head taller than her. That's honestly, that's not important at all. That's just if you want to visualize it, I guess. And my mom got scared because she thought I was gonna like push her on the floor or something like that, because when I was younger, in fact all the way to this day, I do not like it when people touch me. Like my dad like tries to hug me, I have to hug my mom goodnight and give her a kiss on the cheek, all that. It makes me very uncomfortable, you know. Hugging guys, the only thing that doesn't make me uncomfortable is dabbing people up. That's because it's so like impersonal, it's just quickly touching someone's hand. I do like touching girls' hands though. Sometimes I'll just come up with excuses to like, there's this girl that sits next to me in class, and sometimes I'll just come up with an excuse to like touch her hand. Anyway, enough being a creep. But yeah, she got scared. She thought I was gonna push her on the floor, but I just hugged her back, and I was just like, "Yo, what's going on?" I looked over at my mom like, "What's going on?" And then she asked if I wanted to be her boyfriend, and I said yes. I'm like, sure. And then we dated throughout the entirety that I was at kindergarten, which was like I think a semester. We were boyfriend and girlfriend for that entire semester. Think about it, that is the second longest relationship I've ever had, because that's like a solid like 4 months. Um, yeah, the longest one I've had was 5 months, I think. Yeah, so damn, I got my start early. Yeah, I also had my first kiss with her. I remember I was me and these kids were like playing some game, kind of like, and she like popped up out of nowhere doing whatever. I'm like, and I was like, no, man, it's all cringy. I was like, yo, Raquel, what are you doing here? You know, these people are after us or whatever. And then she just walked up to me and just like kissed me, and I didn't know how to handle that. I just stood there in silence for like a second or two. I'm like, and I just kept doing whatever I was doing. And then I was like, I remember like complaining to people, actually. Like I remember I complained to my mom's friend Bonnie. I was like, yo, this girl kissed me. When I was younger, I used to say smooch. I was like, yo, this girl smooched me. And yeah, kind of complaining, kind of not complaining, because I didn't know like I didn't know how to process getting kissed. And yeah, eventually I when I was in kindergarten, I wasn't very socially successful, and I guess I also acted kind of weird, maybe. So the teachers, or the teacher that I had, started making me sit at the back of the class when they would like watch movies, or she would always just like, whenever the class was doing something, she would always like have me go somewhere else to do whatever. I remember it made Raquel sad. She would like sneak under the tables, because I would often, like, since I would run out of stuff to do, usually I was on trash duty. For some reason I like to clean when I was that age. I don't like cleaning now. But yeah, I like to just like clean when I was younger, so she would like put me on trash duty all the time and then send me to the back of the class. And then once I was done with that, or I would, because I have to crawl under the tables, but once I was done with that, I would just sit under a table and just be sad. And Raquel would come over, crawl under chairs and tables, and start talking to me and hang out. Sometimes I think there was a few times when the teacher actually got mad at Raquel and told her to like come back, and told kids to not talk to me. And that's why I was only there for a semester, and that's why Raquel and I were only dating for a semester. Yeah, so I left. I ended up never seeing Raquel again, and then I tried first grade, and first grade was when I really started having issues. I started getting like really stressed out and anxious in my classes. I made a friend named Luke. I used to call him Luke Skywalker. He wasn't offended by that. He thought it was funny. He liked Star Wars. And then what happened? Yeah, I met some kids. This was one of the first times I felt like straight up like sexual attraction. It's such a weird way. It was such a weird way to express it too. So I was sitting in class, and there was like this white blonde girl sitting in front of me, and the thing is, like, I guess she like wasn't wearing underwear, and she her pants were like getting like pulled down, kinda, because she was like we were all sitting crisscross, and she was sitting in front of me and these two other like dark Mexican kids, and you could see like her ass crack really well, like. Okay, well, I was about to say something. I'm like, whoa, no, that's on some pedophile stuff. But if like a girl my age was sitting like this in front of me, there is no way that, there's no way I'm paying attention to whatever the teacher's saying. And I pointed out to these kids, and then they started laughing, and I started laughing, and then we just started fucking laughing for like 10 minutes at this at this girl right behind her. And she started like getting like uncomfortable with us like pointing and laughing at her. And then the teacher was like, well, got mad at us. Actually, I think she like primarily only got mad at me, and then like made me like made us sit somewhere else. and I got sent to a special ed class. I got taken out of my class and sent to a special ed class eventually. And when that happened, I got like angry, and I started becoming like really defiant and stuff with whatever the teachers were saying. And then when my mom heard about that, she went over to the principal and started yelling at her, and then the principal called the cops on her and had her like escorted out. And then that's when I got pulled out of. Also, this one kid Shane named, yeah, his name is Shane. He should be ashamed of himself. Yeah, I remember like we were just like doing whatever, and he just fucking punched me in the balls. And apparently I got like I was like bruised. I had to go to the doctor. And then this is where my exhibitionism fetish came out. Not anyway. That's probably one of the reasons it originated. But anyway, what am I saying? Right. So I got taken out of first grade, and then I kept going to schools and going there for a little bit, then getting taken out. One of the worst ones, or at least in my mom's opinion, it was the worst one that I went to. It was a school called Bellamente. It was a Montessori school, and I went there. I remember like it always smelled like wood because it was under construction. It was in, I think it was in Encinitas. Yeah, it was in Encinitas, but like kind of in the ghetto part, or around like low income housing and a gas station. And I remember there was a code yellow there once, and I had anxiety for like most of my life, all the way up until like probably when I was like 14. No, probably all the way until I was like 15. I had like bad anxiety, and then it just changed to social anxiety, and then from social anxiety it changed to what's it called? It changed to, oh, after social anxiety, that was the last anxiety that I had. Now I'm not like really anxious about anything. Sometimes I get worried about like my future, like, you know, that I'm just like mentally ill and that things just, I'm never gonna be happy. But I'm feeling pretty good right now. Anyway, and then yeah. So I remember I went to the school. I made some friends. This was like, I think he did have a little bit of Down syndrome. I don't think it was just that he was Asian. But this is like one of the first times I was like interacted with an Asian kid, and he was like very Asian. Like he would bring food to school, and I'm not saying that Asian food smells terrible, because I mean I've been to Panda Express, it's fine. But yeah, this kid would whip out like stuff that looked like black tamales and stuff, and oh my god, it smelled horrible. It smelled like the best way I could describe it is like if you boil Brussels sprouts and just let them sit for like a few days. It smelled like that. It was horrible. And this kid, like, he would sit around me and he would like open his shit and start eating. I'm like, God, what the fuck is that, bro? God, go somewhere else. And I remember he used to kind of bully me, and I used to kind of bully him a little bit. And then there was a kid named Trevor, or Travis. And his name was Trevor. But apparently, like, that was his like nickname, and his like actual name was Bryce. So then I started calling him Rice because I didn't like him. Anyway, yeah. I told my mom about it. I'm like, yo, mom, there's this kid that like looks weird. He has like a flat face and his eyes are all squinted. I think I even like pulled my eyes back, and she just like looked at me all shocked and like, Chris, he's Asian. I'm like, oh, that's what Asian people look like. This is in like 4th grade. I think he did. Thinking about it now, I'm pretty sure he did have a little bit of Down syndrome. That's like if he was just Asian and looked like a normal person, I probably wouldn't have thought anything of it. Besides, he has weird eyes, but like the shit, like he had like a lack of a transition between his neck and his head, which is like the biggest thing that like weirded me out about him. He looked like Salmonella's depiction of like an undercooked human. When he was talking about the pug in the dog video, when he was talking about pugs. Fuck, I'm just roasting the shit out of this kid. But yeah, there was that, and I actually got like in big trouble for I was like, by this point I was like so jaded and hateful towards everyone. I started conspiring with these kids, and we'd like plan and fantasize about how to shoot up the school. And we would always fantasize about school shootings and stuff. And eventually, Trevor wanted to hear what we were talking about, and then after some persuasion, because okay, so I was like the group leader, and then there was this nerdy kid that I was friends with, and there was this other kid that was a little less nerdy. The best way I could describe him is he looked like a chubby kid that would be named Newman. That's the best way I could describe this. The other kid, and then the nerdy kid that I was talking to, he had like a buzz cut and like weird glasses. But yeah, and I was like the group leader. I was like the clan leader of these people. And I remember I would even like stand up on bricks and start like telling them stuff and telling them my literally diabolical plans, because we're talking about mass murder. and, and Trevor wanted to know what we were talking about, and after I didn't want to tell him because we're talking about fucking literally diabolical supervillain shit. And eventually I was like, okay, fine. And I told him, and then he told the teacher, and then I like, my parents said that they were gonna, I got like talked to by the school, and then the school talked to my parents, and my parents were so like angry about it that they said that they were gonna take away my computer for a year, or like, not my computer. I used their computer, but they said I was not gonna be allowed to use the computer for a year, and to me that was like a super long time because I was like 9. I was like, whoa, okay. And maybe it was 3rd grade, something like that. And then I remember the teacher was like a fucking crash out too. She was like this white blonde chick. Actually, no, she dyed her hair blonde. I know, because her roots were dark and they were starting to grow out. And I remember like there were like she would like yell at the class and be like, because of you guys are stressing me out so much, it's making me nauseous. I literally went to the bathroom and threw up earlier. And then all the kids would be like all apologetic and feel all sad and stuff after she would like go off on them. And she would like, they would all like be trying to like offer her things and help her with stuff. She was like straight manipulating the class. And then I remember at some point I was doing something. I think it had something to do with Trevor. And she like picked me up, like she like gripped the back of my neck, and like she like walked me out of class. And then like she like from like, it was like a weird kind of way to do it, but like grabbing the back of my neck, she like made me like face like my back to the wall, and then she like slammed my back into the wall. And then she like left, and I started crying about it. Anyway, at some point I wrote like a threat on a notepad, and gave it to Trevor, and Trevor reported me, and I got sent to the principal office for threatening to kill him. And I tore it up and threw it in the trash. But the thing is the principal was like, I guess while I was waiting in the room, the principal was watching me on the cameras, and like he called me in, and then he left immediately, and he came back with the stuff that I tore up, put it together, and was like, or actually no, he came back with it already put back together, and he was like, what's this, huh? Are you threatening to kill him? And to be fair, I remember it wasn't exactly like like threatening to kill him. It was some like weird like fucking poetic shit about me being like the Grim Reaper. I don't know. So it was some cringe shit. And man, I remember back to all the stuff that I used to do. Like, oh, it's so cringy, but I need to talk my shit. Why do I talk like this? I'm a white person. I talk super white and sophisticated in my head. Like I use words like superfluous and stuff when I'm talking in my head, but I do not do that out loud. I should start doing that out loud. Although I used to do that, and then I think people used to like dislike me because they thought I would like be pretentious. To be fair, it is pretty pretentious to be like, oh yes, indubitably I'll do that, or fucking that's an automatopoeia, whatever random words. Very pretentious. Anyway, yeah, and I got pulled out of that school. The last school I went to, this was actually the first time I got in a fight. But I've gone to a total of, I think I counted it up, it was like 14 schools, including Gila Ridge and Pacific View. Or actually, I guess Pacific View is like, I did that twice. Like, that's like a double dip. So maybe 13. I don't know. Somewhere around that. I've been to the double-digit number of schools. And the last school that I had, that I went to, actually, that was the last school for a while. It was 5th grade. And it was really showing that I was in the 97th percentile. I remember most of the kids were down to like my chest. Like most of the guys were down to my chest. And the girl, it was so early. Like the girls hadn't even hit puberty yet. They weren't even tall. And so I was close in height to my teachers, in fact. And I was like as tall as some of them, I think. I think we had like a short principal, and I was about as tall as my principal. I went out. I was at this slide, and it was like a slide that had like an overhang thing. That it was. It's not a slide that had like a completely open top. It's like there was something you could grab onto and swing down into the slide from. And I went up there and I looked around for a second, just like looking at the view, I guess. And I was gonna go down, and this kid came up from behind me and started pressing into my pressing into my back, and he pressed my lower two ribs into the slide thing. Damn, I was really tall. Like even like, it was on my lower ribs, but like, damn, I was tall. So this kid started doing that, and then he called over one of his other friends, and now I had two people pressing my ribs into the thing, and that shit was hurting. One of them was standing, one of them was down low. I turned, looked at him, and I started throwing elbows, kind of like a spinning elbow, but without like the spin, just like a back elbow. I threw three of them into this kid's face, and he like dropped to the ground because I just elbowed him 3 times right in the face, and his friend ran away. And I turned around, I gripped the side of this kid of his head, and I threw it into the wall, because there was like a hallway leading up to the slide, and I just slammed it into the wall, and I ran after the other kid, and I was gonna my plan was I was gonna track him down, and I was gonna shoot for his legs, and I was just gonna start beating the shit out of him. But I was fat when I was younger, so I never played tag or any sports because I spent way too much time not being in school. In fact, I still don't really know how to play basketball, but I don't know how to play like any sports besides like martial arts, and I know how to play Foursquare, kind of. Yeah, I think I do. Yeah, those are pretty much the only sports I know how to play. Oh, I know how to play badminton too. Badminton's fun. I learned that in freshman year. But yeah, I was too slow. I ran out. Well, I wasn't able to catch up to this kid, but I got my revenge because the next day I went up to him, and I just started berating him. I knew that he had like issues with his dad or something like that. Like his dad was like absent a lot or something. So I just started being like, "This is why your dad doesn't fucking love you," and just screaming at him about all this stuff for like half an hour. Actually, I don't know how long it was, but for like at least half of recess. And eventually he just bursted out in tears and just started bawling his eyes out, and I felt kind of awkward. And then I'm like, oh. I just said some like more shit back to him, and I just like walked away satisfied. There was also another time where this girl tripped me, and I did the same thing where I tried running after her, and then she hid in the bathroom, and a teacher like blocked the bathroom because I was about to just go in there and just beat her ass, and the teacher like blocked the doorway, and I started cussing out the teacher. I guess I wasn't that much taller. I was still a few inches taller than the teachers, and I was still a few inches shorter. And then I went to middle school, and that was the last school that I went to for a while. I went to middle school, and I remember I made a few friends the first day. I had the normal issues I have, and I was being very defiant and stuff, and things didn't work out well. The way that I would describe what it used to feel like is it felt like my mind was like it felt like I was on fire. It felt like my mind was on fire when I was in the classroom. I remember there were some times where I would try and like hold it together, and I would just start sobbing because like I was in so much distress just being there. I think a part of it was like being in the environment and the social aspect, and like I had super bad concentration issues, so trying to focus on the schoolwork and trying to do it was unbearable. And that's another thing. I felt like a piece of shit back then because I wasn't able to I wasn't able to be in school and do schoolwork, and at home I wouldn't do anything. And at some point, and my parents would would like would say a lot of would shame me, or like say a lot of mean stuff about me being a bum, and comparing me to my cousins and my uncle, um, that are in prison, and are drug addicts and are disabled. And you know yeah, I just felt like such a horrible person. I remember I would go to school and I would try so hard to make friends and talk to people and to not act like a crash out, but I kept crashing out because I couldn't control it. I was losing my mind in there. I would cry. And yeah, um it started, I think it tapered down a little bit. I just ended up just not doing the schoolwork, and I found a way to not start yelling at people. Or I guess not really yelling at people, but I found a way to not just act insane, just by not doing the schoolwork. But it was such a terrible experience just being there anyways. Like this one kid jerked off in the bathroom while I was in there, bro. Entirely unrelated. But yeah, I just remember that happened. I like telling that story every now and then when the time calls for it. But yeah. After a few days, I got like, my friend got in trouble for having his phone out or something like that, and I flipped off the security guard that was like taking his phone, and I got sent to the office, and I got in all this trouble and stuff. And me and this kid, like Taylor, his name was, he started like hanging out with me like less and less, and like avoiding me. But he didn't like full on like just be like, I don't want to hang out with you, I don't want to be friends with you. So I kept trying, because like, I wasn't too good at reading social cues back then, but I could kind of tell like, oh, I think he might not like me and stuff. And it's just like such a terrible middle ground. I remember I would always get in that middle ground with people, in those middle grounds with people, and it would be terrible because I'd be trying to like make them like me, and then they'd be like kind of being like cold, but not like straight up like mean enough in a way where I would be like, okay, I'm gonna leave them alone now. So, and it was embarrassing always. But yeah, I remember, well, I also met a girl named Liz. I thought about like raising her up, but I spoke to her for like a few days or for like a few weeks or something like that. I don't really remember the timeline. And then she sent me like a paragraph saying that she can't be friends with me because she wants to go to UCLA. She aspired to go to UCLA, and she didn't want to be caught up in drama and bad things that are gonna ruin her grades, or affect her record or whatever. And I responded to that by crashing out and sending her like a giant hateful paragraph. I forgot what I said. I was like, "Oh, fuck you, you stupid fucking cunt." I hope you die in the and just fucking describe the worst stuff. I was terrible. I was terrible when I was younger. I think I peaked when I was like 12. When I was 12, I was like actually the worst I'd ever been. But yeah, I was still 11. It was beginning of the semester. And then there was drama about that. And then after that, things just kept going downhill. And eventually, after 3 months, I got pulled out. I remember around this time, I had like such bad, I don't know if it was neuropathy or arthritis or something like that. Because, I mean, nowadays, especially when I get like a lot of inflammation, I get the pain back a little bit, but not as bad as back then. But it was to the point where like I would be like limping around all over the place. Like I would limp to all my classes, and it was a big campus too, and I'd have to like limp across, like back and forth across the whole campus. And then there was PE, and I just wouldn't participate in PE because first of all, I didn't want to. I thought it looked cringe to do everything in unison with everyone. I don't know. I think it was like a lack of individuality. Like, oh, you want to clump me in with all those shitheads? Yeah. And then there was that, and then there was also the not lack of individuality, but wait, right. Oh, so my ankles just hurt so bad, and eventually it was to the point where I think I got like a medical, like a either I got a medical exemption from PE. I think I did. Either that, or at some point they just stopped. Or actually, I think we talked to the principal and they're like, okay, he's got some issue with his ankles, whatever. Sure, he doesn't have to do PE. He's just gonna sit with like an IEP person or whatever. And yeah, eventually it got to the point where like at some point I sat down. I just I started crying. I'm like, yo, at this rate, like I'm not gonna be able to walk. I'm gonna be in a wheelchair. Like at this rate, in like within like a year or two, I'm gonna be in a wheelchair. But I started going to the chiropractor, and I stopped walking and stuff so much, and it went away. I just don't have the issue anymore. And then when I was 13, I realized okay, here are like the worst years of my life. Worst years of my life. I was not allowed to leave the house. I was locked in my room all day, every day, and I remember people. Well, yeah, I didn't have any friends. I did meet some people on Xbox eventually. That's how I met Badger. But yeah, I didn't have any friends, and it was a horrible feeling because I knew, like, in my head, I'm like, I knew that it's my fault that I don't have any friends, that the reason why nobody likes me, it's just because of me and how I act and who I am. So, and like in my head, it was like nobody liked me for who I was, and it felt like everyone hated me, and like I just felt like a bum, like a piece of shit. And I didn't help out much around the house at the time. I don't think there was that much to do around the house anyways. But yeah, it's I couldn't go to school, and there was like not much to do at home. So my parents would always, like, especially like my dad, would make me feel like I was a bum a lot, because I couldn't be in school, and he didn't like really understand like what I was going through until I think like my mom had like a conversation with him, and after that he started acting different. I don't know what she told him. I kind of have a feeling that she just like threatened to leave him or something like that if he didn't start acting different towards me. That's just my suspicion. That I remember all the stuff he used to say to me, and the way that my mom would say stuff like, especially if like they asked me for help and I did something wrong. Maybe even now she kind of does that. She'd like scream at me. She'd be like, "Oh, and like use your fucking noodle for once," and stuff like that. Like, and she would just say stuff like she would just make me feel like I was dumb and like I was a bum. And back then I was lazy, but the main thing was that it's like I felt like a bum because I couldn't do like my job as a kid, which was to be in school, and like for me that would be like pulling my own weight, at least back then, and I couldn't do that. And I guess to be fair, it wasn't exactly my fault that I wasn't able to do that. I was mentally ill, but they made me feel like I was lazy, and that's what ended up leading to like my to overtraining and being anorexic and stuff. And yeah, and I just felt like such a horrible person. Like no one, like people hate me for who I really am, and I'm a bum. I can't like do anything productive, and like I'm gonna grow up and maybe I might have to like just be bumming off my parents because I won't be able to get a job. And then like that, no one's gonna like me, no one's gonna want to be my friend. I'm not gonna go out and do things, I'm not gonna have fun, I'm not gonna find love, I'm not gonna have kids, I'm not gonna do anything in my life. My life is gonna be exactly how it is right now, just being stuck in this house doing nothing forever. And that was all that was that's all I would think about back then. And it was terrible, honestly. Like back then, like if things didn't change, I think like honestly by the time I was like or if things didn't change by like the time like high school age, like by the time I was in high school, I probably would have killed myself. It's like it was there was like I had like no joy. Like the only thing that I could do, like, so at first, like since I was like young, I would play video games all day every day for like 9 hours a day. And then and that happened a lot. And then eventually I got so sick of playing video games. when I was like 11 or 12, I started just watching YouTube all day every day, and I got so sick of watching YouTube. Like all I could stand to do was just listen to music and watch porn. And I would be watching so much porn, and yeah, and I all you know all I knew to do was just do that, listen to music and do that, and yeah, it was hard, and things went on like that all the way until I was 13. I even started smoking cigarettes when I was 12. And yeah, when I was 12 was like, so XXX and Lil Peep were popular like 2017, 2018, all the way into they were all that stuff was very popular all the way into 2019, early 2020. So I would look up to them as like, not like necessarily like a role model of like the person I want to be, but just like a life that I want to live, a life where I went out and did things and had fun and had friends and just did stuff and had experiences, and did things. And so I would look up to like them a lot. So I started like I would like put like fake tattoos on my face and draw on my arms and smoke cigarettes and stuff. And then when I was 13, I realized I was like, okay, this is my last opportunity to this is my last opportunity to get fit, be attractive, go to school, and have like the life that I always wanted. I always just wanted a life where I had friends and where I went out and did stuff and just had fun. That's all I ever wanted. I mean, even now I feel like I missed out, and that's what I've just been wanting. But I feel like even now I can't do it too well. Yeah, I can't do it to the extent that I guess I wanted. I don't know. I still have some stuff to think about and figure out. But yeah, that's all I ever wanted. And I was like, okay, this is my last chance to do that. So I started exercising. At first it was a few times a week, and then eventually it became every day. I would be in my house, put on some music, and just run in place for like half an hour. I would do push-ups and stuff. When I started, like, I used to do karate, and I used to be able to do like 25, 30 push-ups. And then when I was 11 and MLK, I noticed, I was like, damn, I can only do like 12 decline push-ups. No, that's not good. It's starting to get tough. And then by the time I was 13, I was like, by the time I was 13, I was probably somewhere from 180 to 220, probably 180 to 210 pounds, somewhere around there. When I was 10, I was less fat, and I was a little bit shorter, and I was 183 when I got weighed at the dentist. And then I was 13, I grew a little taller, I got a lot fatter. So I don't really know. But yeah, it got to I think I was able to do one push-up at that time, and there was so much like weight and stuff involved, like even just like having my toes on the floor, like it would hurt my toes so bad. But I was like, no, I have to do it. I need to know that I'm not a bum. I need to know that I can work and I can achieve things, and I can strive hard for stuff, and I can get not just what I want, but that I can get what I need. Because at the time I felt like I couldn't do anything at all. I was like, honestly, even just making the accomplishment of being able to do push-ups, I need to know that I could do something. So I started doing that. I started losing weight, and by the time I started freshman year, I lost a noticeable amount of weight. I was able to do a lot more push-ups, and then I started going harder and harder on it, and that was throughout all of freshman year. And I remember in freshman year, I was like, man, I really want to better myself, and I want to be attractive, and I really wanted to be attractive so people would like me, because I just felt like back then I felt like my personality was like so unlikable. I felt like just no one would like me for who I really am. So I wanted to be attractive enough to where it didn't matter what I looked like. And so I started exercising and stuff all the time, and eventually it got to the point where like the last months of freshman year, I got down. I got down like really skinny, but then I also started like for lunch I would only eat like a salad, and I looked at the calories and stuff too. I was making sure that I was, at some point I remember I was trying to go for 1,000 calories a day and run for an hour a day, which would burn 1,000 calories. So I would be having like a net 0 calories per day. And I remember I used to like jump in place and stuff, and I was doing a lot of stretching training and all that. And by the end of freshman year, I was like starting to look kind of weird. Not because I was like not because I was super underweight, but just because like I lost like so much weight, and I had like I was like so getting so deficient in things, and I was so hypocaloric that like it showed on my face like how much stress and wear and tear I was under. And it even got to the point where like after school I would like try and jump in place, and I would be like it would be so difficult. I would like jump like 5 times, and like my heart like felt like it was about to explode. I just felt like such weakness. Like it felt like my pecs, it felt like my muscles were withering. It was insane. I was so lightheaded and all that. But I just kept going. I just kept doing it because I need to prove that I can do this. And my goal was to have my goal was to be as lean as possible, and primarily it was to have like very defined abs. And by May, I started getting ab definition, and then, but the thing is, I was like, okay, I need more ab definition. So I just, and then the goal changed from ab definition to I also wanted like a very chiseled face, because another thing I realized at some point was that I do not like neotenous features. Like my entire life, I never liked neotenous features. So like I wanted, even when I was like 10 and I would look in the mirror, I'd be like, oh, my face is so round and pudgy. It's disgusting. And I used to also like everyone in freshman year. I thought like everyone's fucking ugly, especially especially in the latter part of it, because my testosterone was starting to take a hit. And yeah, it got to the point where like there was very few girls that I thought were attractive. And then beginning of sophomore year, oh, again, I wanted a chisel face. I wanted like hollow cheeks and front cheekbone definition and all that. And yeah, I remember even like by late freshman or early sophomore year, I remember at some point like I like told mom, I'm like, there's something wrong with me. Like I'm not attracted. I don't think I'm attracted to girls anymore. Like I've been realizing that they've been having to be like so attractive and all that. And even then, I don't feel the same way when I look at girls now. Like now when I look at women, I don't feel anything. I don't think anything. And then I got even leaner and leaner, and it got to the point where like it looked like I was constantly doing the vacuum pose. My ribs were showing. Eventually I did get to the point where the fat was like leaving my body in like a weird way. So my goal was to have like hollow cheeks and a chiseled face, but the fat there was like the last to go. So by the time like my cheeks were hollow and all that, like I looked like death. I looked so sickly and ill. My eyes were so dark, and I felt just utterly horrible. I felt like I was withering away all the time. And I was so tired all the time that I didn't even want to hang out with my friends. I remember there was like months where I wouldn't hang out with my friends, and like when one of my or not, I don't think it was months, but there was like long periods of time where I wouldn't hang out with my friends, and I stopped like making that much of an effort to hang out with anyone. And I even when Badger would call me, I didn't even want to answer the phone because I was too tired to talk to him. And yeah, and especially in sophomore year, I have really bad OCD, and the OCD like messes with my ability to read. And being anorexic, or like just like starving, or like being anorexic, any sort of feeling of that, like even now, if I start like not eating for too long, like not eating, but if I become hypocaloric for too long and I lose a little bit of weight, even now, like they'll start fucking with my OCD. Start making it really hard to read. Make like thinking to myself hard, because like I like have thoughts, and then like for some reason in my head it'll be like those thoughts aren't perfect. You need to say them again, and then it's weird. But yeah, my OCD got so bad I was barely able to read at all, and I was given a lot of schoolwork, but it was also probably the OCD that made it so I had to spend like 10 hours a day doing schoolwork. And it was 10 hours a day for 2 classes for a semester. Now, to be fair, they gave me a lot of schoolwork, but also I had the anorexia was making my OCD really bad. And yeah, they where was I going with this? Right. So eventually, at some point I looked in the mirror. I'm like, yeah, I can tell I am very, very skinny. I weighed 136 pounds at the time, and I was like, I've lost a lot of muscle. I'm really skinny. I mean, I guess that's good, but like the thing that got to me is I would just look at my face. I'm like, I look weird. Like, this isn't the effect I was going for. Like, I look ugly. I was trying doing this to make my face attractive, and now I just look weird and ugly. So I need to gain some weight. So I started gaining weight, and that felt great. And I could see like my muscles like coming. I was lifting the entire time, and I could see my muscles coming in really fast and all that. And eventually I plateaued at around 157. I think right now I'm hovering around 154 or 152. But yeah, that was pretty dope. I think I'm a little skinnier than I was. But yeah, that was pretty dope. When I gained, oh my god, bulking was so great, because I was like, oh my god, I can eat however much I want whenever I want. Because I would be fantasizing about food all the time, like fucking 50 minutes out of every hour I would just be thinking about food. And I would look forward to every meal of the day, and I would just always be fantasizing about it. I'd be coming up with recipes and stuff. I'd be writing down recipes on my phone and whatever. I was so hungry all the time. And then and then that brings me to junior year, 2023. Now let's get into the best time of my life. So best time of my life, I started talking to Caitlin more, and I started hanging out with my friends more, and I just started being more social, and we started setting up things to do. I'm like, yo, I'm hanging out with my friends. I'm doing all this stuff. I have such great friends. I'm having so much fun. And I'm talking to Caitlin. I might try raising up Caitlin, and then we scheduled to go out and do things, and they would invite some of their friends, and I'd meet some new people every now and then. I remember scheduling to watch Barbenheimer with Aiden, and this was during the summer, and Aiden was in Santee. So a couple times I got dropped off in Santee, and then we would like run amok. We'd go to the mall and fuck around, and I felt like a teenager. It felt so great. We'd sneak into movies. We'd pay for one ticket and go from one movie to another, and that was I just felt like such a teenager doing all that. And at some point, like I met this girl. I think her name was like Veronica. I was like, I need to practice running my game. I have friends now. I'm attractive. I'm muscular. I think I got what I need to start running game. So I pulled. Me and him were riding bikes. We would like ride bikes around the city and just like explore stuff. And I saw these like goth girls like doing stuff, running amok in between a Jack in the Box and a froyo place And by the time I got the balls to go up and talk to them, they were sitting outside this froyo place. I forgot what I said. I just like I came up and I had been like asking my dad, I'm like, you know, oh, where are ways to like talk to girls? And he's like, oh, well, you can do this and that. And I remembered one of them, like, oh, this is like this is exactly what he said to do. So I just walked up and I'm like, hey, you know if this place is any good? The froyo place? And they're like, yeah. And then we started talking a little bit actually, and then they asked me to buy them froyo, and I had some expendable cash on me. And I'm like, you know what? Sure, I'll buy one of you froyo. I'll buy you froyo. So I went in, I bought her some froyo, and we got some. I got some for her and some for me. At the time, I was like on a diet. But I'm like, hey, I'm with the hoes. I'm with girls. I can't be acting all weird about my diet, eating disorder, whatever. So I ate the ice cream, and she she ended up scamming Aiden, or not. She basically mugged it. She took his glasses, and then she refused to give him back unless he paid her. I'm not sure if he paid her or if I paid her, but someone actually gave her money, like $1 or something like that. She gave the glasses back. I think we were. I was thinking about now. She was just fucking around and being kind of flirty, you know. Yeah, and then we started talking, and then we had a race, and I beat them pretty well because I used to run for an hour every day and do sprints. So I beat her pretty easily. Yeah, but when I pulled up and asked if this place was any good, I was shirtless. Like my shirt was like in my pocket or something like that, and I did not put my shirt on that entire time. I think eventually, like we got on our bikes and we went somewhere. They're like, hey, you want to go on the roof with us and smoke? And I'm like, sure. So we went over, we rode bikes over to a roof. I put my shirt on. We climbed onto this roof, and man, this is like the best experience ever. You know, we got on this roof and they started smoking cigarettes, and you know, I declined. Me and Aiden were just chilling. You know, we were on this roof looking at the view. You know, hanging out with these girls, and then a cop pulled up, and like we fucking hopped off the roof and dipped. The cop didn't like turn the lights on or anything. I think they were just there to scare us off. And then we were riding around, and then eventually actually we like found them. Like they were on one side of the street, like, hey Chris. I'm like, oh yo, it's them. And then like I waved at them, and then we met up again, and then eventually she said she had to go, and she gave me her Insta. She lived in Santee, and I didn't go to Santee for a while after that. And by the time that I did, I already sent her a fucking spam message advertising my YouTube channel, and it had been so long, I don't think she even cared anymore. So yeah, nothing ended up coming of that. But yeah, I swear that was one of the best days of my life. It was so fun, you know, just exploring the place and, you know, riding bikes, you know, fucking messing with little kids, you know, going to this park, talking to random girls. Yeah, we approached a couple girls actually. Aiden wasn't really about that. I think he's always been he's always been like kind of shy. And especially now, like, he says that it's because, you know, eventually God is going to bring him the right woman. But I feel like deep down inside, he wants to try. Because I know that he really wants it. Yeah, but I think him, just like Derek, I think they're scared. And that's the thing with me. Like, my entire life, you know, I guess not my entire life, but like, since, like, when things really started to change, it was at the point where I was like, okay, I need to do this for myself. I need to change something in my life, or else things are never going to change, and things aren't going to go well. So I decided to well, this was like when I was younger, I fought so hard to be attractive and to, you know, be fit. And also I remember I used to torture myself. Whatever exercise I didn't want to do, I used to do that. Whatever I didn't want to eat, I would eat that, just so I could build discipline. I'm like, I need to have the discipline to do whatever it is I need to, no matter what it is, because my entire life I've been stopped by not wanting to do something, not being able to do it, and whatever it is, I need to be able to do it. So I used to torture myself with that intentionally, and then when it came to making friends, I used to walk up to all these random kids, and I used to just be like, I gotta swallow my fucking social anxiety and just do it. And I was so scared walking up to them. fucking cold, sweaty palms and everything. And I talked to a lot of people and I made friends. I did it. And then and then with those two things, those were like the two biggest things that I needed in my life. And I through praying and asking God, because when I was 13, I broke down and got on my knees, and I was like an atheist from when I was like 10 to when I was 13. I was an atheist, and at some point I broke down and just got on my knees. I'm like, maybe I think my grandma's right. I think everyone's right. I can't do this without the help of God. So I got down on my knees and I just started crying. I begged God to help me change my life, and He did it. And yeah, and when it came to the girls, I was like, I'm not satisfied. There's one more thing that I need. So, and if I want it, I have to fight for it. And I don't think any of my friends, I don't think like really anyone else has that same kind of mindset of whatever it is I want, I need to just fight tooth and nail for it. No matter what it is, I have to fight as hard as I can, so I can get it. And bro, I remember like there was this one time, like this was like the first time I walked up to a girl and the cold started. It was in Target, and I was in my head. I'm like, okay, like it was kind of like a superstition kind of thing that I came up with in order to force myself to talk to a girl. And I was like, okay, you know what? The next attractive girl that you see, you have to go up and talk to her, or else you're gay. Like you're gonna be gay. That was the threat. And I was like, okay, fine. And then eventually at some point I saw an attractive girl. Like 20 minutes later, I'm like, I did not think it was gonna happen that fast. And right when I saw her, dude, I got so scared. I felt like my heart drop, and I felt like my eyes water, and I got all lightheaded, and everything started looking kind of black and white. I'm like, fuck. I have to do this. And I mustered up the balls and I did it. And oh my God, that was hard. That was the scariest thing I've ever done in my life. I know it sounds stupid, but like facing like at that time, like rejection to me would mean that like you're a horrible person and no one's ever gonna love you. Because I hadn't really proven in my mind, and I didn't love myself, and I hadn't proven in my mind, and no one had proven to me that I was even like a likable person. Because this was before I even went to school and I had friends. And like I have like one friend on Xbox, and that's it. So and even like my family members don't like me. Like the only person that fucks with me is my mom and my dad. So a girl like rejecting me, to me, like in my head, it's like a death sentence. It's like, yo, no one's ever gonna like you. So yeah, that was the scariest thing I've ever done. I mean, there was this one time I went on this roller coaster when I was like 10, and I was so scared. I accepted that I was just gonna die. I'm like, yeah, whatever, I'm gonna die. Dude, I was like crying on that roller coaster. At least I didn't walk up to her and just start fucking bawling my eyes out while I ask, hey, can I get your number? And that's the thing. Like I didn't even know how to talk to people. And even now I still have such a hard time like knowing like how to approach girls and this and that, because I've never like been around people that did that, and I don't have the social experience, and I don't know like a lot of like the social things that people do or think of. I didn't even know that people thought that feet were like disgusting until like January. Yeah, like I was like I had like my feet in frame, and people started complaining. I'm like, bro, they're just my fucking feet. I don't have my fucking like hairy ass dick in frame. Like, what are you talking about? And then that's when I found out that like people thought that feet were gross. I was like, whoa, that's crazy. They're just feet. Who cares? But yeah, so like even now I'm still like finding stuff out on how to talk to people. But yeah, back to what I was saying. What was I saying? Right. And then the best, not the best, probably the second best maybe time of my life was in January. And I met, I'm not actually going to mention them by name because we're kind of not on good terms. Yeah, I went to a youth group at a church called Champion Church. I will say the church. And then I met, I met a group of these girls. One of them, the youngest one in the group, had like a crush on me, and she kept being like, "It's that guy." And I was like, hey, I think this girl has a crush on me. And I was like, How old is she? She looks like she's like fucking 10 years old. No way. Eventually later I found out that she was like 13. I was 16 at the time, but like still that's too far. That's too far. 13 and 16, that's too far. Maybe like 17 and 14, but come on. and yeah. From her, I became friends with her because like we ended up working some attractions together when I volunteered at the pumpkin patch, and I'm like, hey, she wants to be my friend, whatever. There's nothing wrong with being friends with her. I don't really have any friends here anyways. And then through her, I started. I made some other friends there, but like not. Actually, not really. I didn't really have any other friends. I just basically made her as a friend, and occasionally talked to some other like random kids. And through her, she had a friend named I can't say her name, but she had a friend, and I kind of had a feeling that like her friend like might like me or something like that. So I asked her, and through that, she then asked her friend, and her friend was like, "Oh, you should just ask me," which I guess should have been like a clear sign that she did, but I didn't know, and because at the time I was barely just started actually even talking to girls. This is basically my first time really talking to girls like that. I guess I've had some other female friends like my friend Chloe and her friend Delaney, but this is like the first time I like really got into like a friend group that had girls in it, and especially in person. And I started playing Fortnite with them, and really quickly I started playing like 6 hours of Fortnite every day, and I would start staying up till like 3 a.m. because she started getting like really flirty, like when it became late at night, like 2-3 a.m. So I started doing that every night, and I still had to wake up like at a normal time and pretend that I wasn't doing that. Actually, I didn't have a bedtime, so it didn't matter. But eventually my parents started mandating it like a bedtime because I kept doing that, and I was like dying of sleep exhaustion. And at some point I was getting 4 hours of sleep for the entire month, and oh man, that was tough. I remember I was so tired all the time that I had dreams about falling asleep and about like interrupted sleep, and I could not even function. I was barely able to do my schoolwork at all, and it was easy stuff too. It took me like all day. It started taking me all day to do my schoolwork because I was so tired. But it was worth it. It was so fun, bro. Oh my god, I loved her so much. I started talking to them, became friends with their friends, and now I had 2 friend groups, and I was popular. And these girls like gave me like respect, and treated me like I was someone that that people actually wanted. And yeah, and yeah, there's that girl that was friends with the youngest in the group that I first became friends with. I started becoming really, really close with her. I started talking to her all the time, all day and all night, and eventually she knew me better than even my friends knew me, and I had such a deep connection with her. And I wanted to make a move and take things to the next level, and I was like, there's no way that she doesn't like me. And everyone was telling me like, dude, she 100% likes you. And even like her brothers were like being like, yo, I think she likes you. Everyone was saying this, and I was so scared to mess things up, because I was like, you know what, I would even just be okay being friends with her because I love talking to her so much. I love being around her so much. But at some point I tried being flirty, and and it was around Valentine's Day was gonna be in a few days, and I asked her if she had anyone in mind. She's like, nope, there's no guys at all that I'm interested in. I don't like any guys right now. And I was like, oh, so and the way she said it, I was like, okay, I feel like she's kind of throwing a hint at me that she doesn't like me in case she thinks I'm flirting with her. I'm like, okay, whatever, I'll move on. And I started talking to the original girl, that the youngest one in the friend group. I started talking to her older sister, and I knew that her older sister had a crush on me. I'm like, I want to finally, after like 4 years of trying to get a girlfriend, I want to finally get a girlfriend. And I know that she likes me, so it'll probably be easy to get her to date her. So at some point I asked her to be my Valentine, and her younger sister told the girl that I was originally in love with that her sister was my Valentine, and I could hear like the pain in her voice and like the way that she reacted. I'm like, oh, I think I made a mistake. And then like I was talking to her, and then like a week later her brothers like made her confess, and she confessed to me, like, and then the plan was that I was gonna try and like let feelings die out in a relationship with me and the one girl that we were talking, or like by this point we already started dating. I was like, okay, I'd much rather be with you, so I'm gonna let things with me and this girl die out. I'm just gonna be dry, and things are gonna fall apart. Because I just started dating her, I know she has a lot of issues, and I don't want to like hurt her like that. So that was the plan, and then eventually, everyone kept, well, my parents, my friends, and I started seeing signs too, signs that this girl that I was in love with wasn't gonna trust me. Was gonna be like a very like have trust issues and have like a lot of issues and give me like a problematic relationship. And I was just thinking, I was like, she also like she played like such mixed games and stuff. Like I know this one girl really liked me, and this girl I think she really liked me, but I don't even really know, because she would just play all these games with me. And I think she does have a lot of issues. So maybe I should just stay with the girl I'm with, and I did that. And I guess I can't regret it, because it made me who I am right now. But that was a mistake. I still think about this one girl every day. And yeah. I've never felt about her how I've felt about anyone else. And I miss that life that I used to have, where I used to have multiple friend groups, where I was popular and where people gave me respect, and I wasn't because even with my friends, like the ones I have now, for a long time I felt like I had to just be like a people pleaser so they wouldn't leave me, because if they left me, then I would have no friends, and then I would I was homeschooled again by this time, and I was like, I won't be able to make any new friends. And then now that I had 2 friend groups, I was like, damn, I have like fuck you amount of friends. Like I can do whatever I want. I have an expendable amount of friends now. I don't have to worry about what if I say the wrong thing by accident, and now I've lost a friend. It's like, whatever, it's fine. I have other friends. I have other people that like me, so it's fine. Then there was that, and then there was all the there's all the drama and the flirting and stuff with this one girl. And the feeling that she gave me, and how much I liked her, and how awesome it was just talking to her all the time. I love talking to her. But yeah, I don't think me and her are on good terms anymore. I don't really know. I guess I could start talking to her again, but her best friend hates me. Her parents think I'm a bad influence. Her brothers hate me. Her brothers always hated me, but to be fair, that's just because I wanted to date her, and they could tell. And yeah. I keep thinking about the red flags that I saw. I feel like things are never going to be the same, especially after I feel like she's going to like carry resentment for what happened. But maybe I should try things again, because fuck, I miss her. Although I keep thinking about that, and I keep thinking about maybe I just miss what I had back there. And I think about her, I'm like, do I miss her as a person, or do I miss how I felt with her? And I think it's primarily I miss how I felt with her. But man, I felt like she gave me everything I needed. Yeah. I keep thinking about it. I keep coming to the conclusion that it's not her, it's the situation. I'm never going to get that situation back. But we'll see what happens in the future. And then that brings me to right now. Oh no, you know what? Okay, one more thing, really quick. I started school, and I've been becoming more and more depressed, and the things that I liked uh or haven't been like weren't satisfying me, or like weren't making me happy anymore. And I was getting so depressed to the point where I didn't want to get out of bed to get myself food, or to even change the song, or to work on music, or to train, or do anything. I did not want to even get out of bed. And I was so yeah. And I felt like everyone hated me. And honestly, in all my classes, I've been acting kind of like a clown, because I still get some social anxiety, and I try. I get bored and anxious, and I want to like keep talking to people. At some point, all I can think about is just making a fool of myself because it's funny, and talk, kind of like in that. And it's an easy way to try and interact with people, but it doesn't work. And then and with things are like really going downhill, and eventually this one girl I met this one girl. She broke up with her boyfriend to be with me, and then she kept like going back and forth, saying that she wanted to be with me, or that she wanted to be with him, or try and make things work again with him, or whatever. And I just kept going along with it. I'm like, I've only had one girlfriend, and now there's this coming along. This is like my only chance. And to be fair, I don't even know why I would think that, because like, I'm an attractive guy. I get complimented about how I look often. I'm intelligent. I get that's like the most common thing I've been complimented about. I mean, even not thinking about compliments, I think I'm attractive. I know I'm intelligent, and I have everything that I want in a person. I pretty much have in myself. And I have I have things to do. I have all these qualities and this and that. And I think back in my history, I'm like, like that friend group I was telling you about, the original girl, the youngest one had a crush on me. Her sister had a crush on me. Her best friend had a crush on me. Her best friend's friend had a crush on me. I got all these girls in this friend group, every girl in the friend group to like me. And then before then, I had all my female friends I've gotten to have crushes on me. Everyone. I really realized that with one of them, with one of my female friends. They started coming on to me really strong eventually. And she confessed that in the past she had a crush on me. And then later, I think that was a part of like her flirting, and she started coming on to me more and more strong. This was at the time I was talking to Hannah. Oh, I said one of their names. I'm not gonna say which one it was. And this was around the point I was talking to her, and I was like, at some point I was like, okay, I have to like try and let her down easy. So I kind of just played dumb about whatever she meant for a while, and I think she got the hint. She got the hint. We're still friends, luckily, but it's like then I was like, we started off with her being like, she's kind of like my enemy a little bit. She was my friend's female friend, and eventually girlfriend, and she like always made fun of me and stuff. I was like, yo, if this girl that like always used to bully me, and then what I've been friends with for like a few years, if even that girl had a crush on me, and I remember back to all the other girls that have had crushes on me, and those are just the girls I know of too. I was like, damn, there's a lot of girls that have liked me, so I don't even know why I'd be self-conscious about that. But yeah, I felt like it was gonna be my only opportunity, so I let this girl go back and forth and tear me apart. And at some point, I even prayed. I met her the day after I prayed for love. I prayed to find love, and the next day, yeah, I met her. And at some point, I was even like, you know what? She's giving me that feeling of like social satisfaction, like a real deep connection. I was like, that's what I need, and that's what I want. So no matter what it takes, I'm gonna hold on. I'm gonna try and keep that. I'm gonna try and hold on to it. I'm gonna try and have that. So I decided that whatever she did, I was just gonna let her tear me apart until eventually everything stabilizes and it's 100% that she's in love with me. But I don't think she was ever in love with me. In fact, I'm pretty sure she was embarrassed of me actually at some point, because I do kind of act like a clown a little bit. But yeah, and that really fucked with me. And then, she did that one more time. I was like, she said that she wanted to commit to me and that she loved me. And a few days later, she did the same thing, saying that she needed a break and she doesn't know what she wants. I'm like, if you don't know what you want at this point, we've been dating for a month. If you don't know what you want and you say you love me, then you don't love me. You're lying to me. So I was done with the relationship at that point. And and after that, I was like, damn. So I don't think I can't. And I've been talking to all the girls in my classes. I'm like, I don't like any of them. Like, I don't like literally any of these girls in any of my classes. And I don't think any of them are on my level. Like, I don't think any of them are like as, like, I know I act really immature, but I just have a lot of issues. I don't think any of them are as mature and intellectual as me. Just, they don't have that kind of weirdness that I want in someone. And I was like, I just don't think I just don't feel it for any of these girls, and I don't think any of these girls like would work out. And I was like, damn, I'm probably gonna have to go after people that are older than me. And if I'm gonna do that, and it's probably gonna have to be a lot older, so if I'm gonna do that, I'm probably gonna have to like wait years to try and find love. So okay, I guess yeah. And then I started getting so super depressed. At some point, I actually just started losing my mind. Like, I almost got institutionalized. But eventually I started being able to keep it together, and then I found peace through God, and that's where I am right now. I mean, I found peace through God, and I've been chilling, and I've been happy, just doing my thing in my head, not worrying about anyone or anything, just doing my thing. And that's been nice. And that's where I am now.